In this video, we're starting a new stand-up paddleboard. While the board that I just completed, which is behind me, was meant to be quick and dirty, let's get it done fast and see what the project's all about. This board's going to be as good as we could possibly make it. This board's a 12-footer. The new one's going to be a 10-footer. Also, we're putting in some lessons learned. I glued all these pieces together with expanding foam. The new board's getting glued together with Gorilla Glue. Also, this board is all extruded polystyrene, but the new board's going to have some expanded polystyrene in the center. I think it's going to be lighter. It comes in a 2-inch thick section, which makes the assembly a little bit easier as well. I'm expecting this project to take a lot longer too. The expanded polystyrene foam that I bought from Home Depot came with a plastic covering on it. So first of all, we ripped it off of both sides. The goal is to have a 10-foot long board, but the expanded polystyrene foam and also the extruded polystyrene foam, the pink stuff, are both come in 8-foot sections. So we're going to have a 2-foot gap at the end of each. So to have the joints at different ends and different spots, I'm marking off a 2-foot section. We'll need the factory edges for the later step. So everything's got to be square and flat. So I'm taking time to make sure that my 2-foot marks are square to the edge of the board. I'm using Gorilla Glue to glue the boards together this time. When we did the last board, I used expanding foam. The trouble is that the expanding foam didn't really expand together too well. It just wanted to expand out. So there are a lot of gaps between the boards that had to be filled as we started to cut and move forward. We ended up with mixed results, as I'll show you later. I'm taking care to go all the way to the edge, as we'll need the edges, but I also don't want to go over the edge because we'll glue this up in a later step. Also, this glue is kind of expensive, so I'm trying not to waste it. Spraying down the mating surface with a little bit of water to activate the glue. Here we're getting the edges lined up as good as we can. We do need that factory edge on both sides. And once again, we use our world famous bricks to clamp the pieces together. Also, I'm using drywall screws to keep things from shifting around as the glue sets. I'm using a couple 2x6s to get some bend in here for the rocker. The rocker I had on the last board is way too much, but I still want some. Gluing up a 2-foot section for the one end that's still sticking out. The other end of the board hangs over the edge of the pool so we don't lose our rocker. And here you can see what's going to be the nose of the board. I had 2 extra 2-foot sections of the extruded polystyrene, so the nose is going to be extruded polystyrene all the way through. The tail is going to have the expanded polystyrene in the center. We're going to have a wood piece running through the center of the board for stiffness. I'm using pine. Ended up getting flooring pieces because that was the most cost effective. The boards were tongue and groove, which should give us a little bit more strength, but even so, I'm still trying to stagger the joints as much as possible. Here we are putting the last board down and a lot less bricks. As it turns out, we didn't get a very good glue up on this one. I also ended up using some minimally expanding foam, which I'm trimming away with a serrated blade, just the extra that came out at the edges. So here's a complete blank. And our complete center support. Now I'm using a circular saw to cut the blank in half lengthwise. As we glued the blank to the center support, we decided to do one half at a time. We needed two boards to line up on either side of the center support, so here I am squaring it off and measuring the depth in. I added the Gorilla Glue to the foam. That way I could add extra glue where there was divots and voids. Now adding the second half. The ratchet straps worked pretty well for clamping everything together.